These guys are your... These guys... I don't want you to think of these guys as DPS. They're not. They are pretty bad DPS. These guys are like your tactical hidden runs. These guys are your guerrilla warfare, you know, get in and get out. So what's nice about these guys, if the Vikings are coming down to pick off the DPS, pull your DPS that way, pull your stalkers this way, blink in, snipe a Viking or two. He's gonna bring the Marauders, bring your DPS forward, bring your stalkers backward, and then the cycle repeats. Then he's gonna run back with his Marauders and bring in the Vikings. Bring your DPS back, bring your stalkers forward. It's a dance. That's why it's important to have. Otherwise, there's going to be a move. Oh no, Vikings back up, and it's going to be like it's going to be looking like this. This is terrible. It looks bad, and it's just going to get AMP'd. Everything's going to die. It's not going to be pretty. So have stalkers, blink stalkers, and one hotkey. Your DPS, and you can even add the void rays if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not perfect. Ideally, if you wanted to, maybe you can even add a fourth hotkey for the void rays. Maybe you could do like 6. And add your void rays to a different hotkey. I mean, I personally don't have I would say I don't have as much APM to control up to 4 hotkeys for army at the same time. I'll tell you why. Because 3 hotkeys is a lot for me. I'll tell you why. Because other than my DPS and controlling my stalkers, blinking around and being tactical, spreading them out, spread out your DPS and all, I also have this War Prism looking dude, who's actually going to be my 3 hotkey. Now 3 is going to be my support. 3 is going to be things like Colossus. If you only have Colossus, that's going to be 3. But after that, it's going to be your Templar. And your Templar is going to occupy the 3 hotkey. You can get in there. Get in there, Templar. So what's nice about this dude is, say we have 7 on our War Prism. Our Templar are going to be 3, our support. Now here's where it gets complicated. So we have our observer looking at the army, the enemy, Terran, whatever it is. We've got our army split up. We've got the stalkers in one hotkey. We've got our DPS. So we bring the ball over. It's okay to bring in keep him in a ball until you reach your destination. Now I've reached my destination. Now it's important to spread this up. Get my zealots to the front. I'll still position my army as best as I can. I'll have the stalkers over here. Get the zealots. I'll move them around a bit. I'll get the immortals to the front. Try and position them out. I'll have 1 sentry on each side. Like I've got a sentry over there. Get a sentry in the middle. I got a sentry to the left. Flank. I got 1 more sentry. Get a sentry down here. So this way, when I'm going into the battle, I can just be guard and shield. I'll have this gigantic concave. Not only do I want a concave, but I want to have the concave surrounded by guardian shield. I don't want to just have a concave and have only 1 guardian shield go off, because then 75% of my army is not going to be protected by that. So now that I have my army, now I could do something with DPS A move if I wanted to, and go on with that dance. The Viking is going to move forward. The Viking is going to come over here because my Colossus is over here. So then I have to shift my position a little bit, move over that way, and then after I, whichever way the Vikings are coming from, adjust my stalkers, then reposition. Do the same thing I just did. Get into the habit of constantly repositioning. When you're bored, you have nothing to do, get into this habit, because the faster you can do this, the better you are going to be against in game. Because you have to reposition like this when you're playing against a Terran or Zerg, and they're doing it too. The better person with the reposition means that you're going to have the better concave. Of course, a better concave means better position, and better position wins games. So now that, with Terrans, I got aggravated. I picked off like 3 free Vikings. He's mad. He's going with the A move. Now, this is the part where I like, because now Terran's aggravated, he subjects himself to an A move, and usually Terran are going to do this, because they can just dim and kite, and stutter step, if you will. This is when you want to go in for the attack yourself. So you're going to do your A move with your DPS, you're going to pop some Guardian Shields, you're going to bring your Stalkers in, and you're going to bring your 7 hotkey, which is going to be the War Prism in. So you're chasing him down with the Charge Lots, will simulate a battle, and then eventually he's going to get too far ahead, and you're going to have to pull your Zealots back, and everything. So everything's going to be pulled back except your War Prism. Your War Prism's going to go. The War Prism speed's optional. I usually don't get it. But in late game scenario, you can. This is when he's going to come back for the starter step. The Marauders, Marines, Medevacs are going to come back, and then you're going to attack again. You're going to push it, and then your War Prism by now should actually be in front of your army, going this way. So now he's going to start stuttering, stepping again. If you could get force fields off, that would be cool. You might not always get them. This is when I'm doing some drops. I'm dropping behind, using my 3 hotkey, and I'm setting up basically a flank. It's going to be a storm flank. Because you're not going to ever catch Terran that's stutter stepping him with this speed. This is like, I don't know. This is like a handicapped person trying to play basketball or something. This is bad. You're not going to catch up. You're not going to be fast enough to do anything. So you need to get that Warp Prism. You need to get these Templar to set up a flank. When I think of Templar, I always think only 4, no more, no less, because only 4 can fit in the Warp Prism. So I always warp in more. Don't get me wrong, but these guys are always going to be on different bases. So that when, say the Templar died. Look, I have one over here with 100 energy, 200 energy, whatever the case is. And I always have once I drop, you want to set up your Warp Prism. You have to be careful with this guy too. If he has Vikings, make sure he's not targeting it. This is low priority, so if the Terran A moves, he won't target it. Because the Colossus and the Void Rays, whatever you have, are going to be more priority than the Warp Prism. So when I drop it, I'm just hitting the D button on my keyboard, and then dropping the Warp Prism, and I'm just hitting my 3 key. This is important here. You need to keep your Templar on 3, because I'll try to simulate this in slow motion. Because when I'm dropping down my Templar, you only have like a second to do this. This is why hotkeys are important. When your army's moving in, he's going in. You only have a second. He's kiting you. You need to drop 3 and 3 storm. And then Terran's getting his ass stormed. Because he's kiting. If he goes backward, he's going to be in the storm. If he goes forward, he's going to be in the Colossus and your DPS, everything. If he goes to the side, same thing with it. If he goes to the side or forward, he's going to be hit by the DPS. If he goes back, he's going to be hit by the storm. Basically, you're sandwiching Terran. And this is like the most amount of micro I can put into my army. And that's where my hotkeys kind of are at the moment. I mean, it might change in the future, but it's basically DPS is onto everything. And my Blink Stalker, my mobility is on 1. My harassment, my support are on 3. And 4 is going to be my next. So I have 1, 2, and 3, mainly. I've seen players do just Zealot Sentry, Stalker, and Colossus. That's like 3. So Zealot Sentry is going to be 2. Stalker is going to be 1, and like Colossus and Templar are going to be 3. I don't really like this method because it's like, I'll tell you why I don't like this method. Because they're gonna kind of be at different speeds. The Colossus is kind of, you're gonna see the Colossus take too far ahead. It's gonna be kind of like a move and then storm. It's gonna be like Colossus A storm A storm. I'll tell you why this isn't good. Because say Terran's over in this direction. If Colossus and Templar are in your support hotkey, then you're just going to A move with the Colossus and try to storm. The problem is your Templar are going to keep A moving in that direction, which means they're going to get picked off. The Colossus is going to stop and start attacking. The Templar is just going to keep going, and then you're going to die to like marine fire and water fire and like 2 shots, and you don't want that to happen. So I don't like having Colossus and Templar in my hotkey. Sometimes I'll keep just Colossus until I get Templar out. Then my Colossus is going to go into my 2 hotkey, the DPS, and then Templar is going to override the 3 hotkey and go into 3. So I do have my. Let's pretty much it. Let's take a recap real quick. These hotkeys are going to look the same for just about every matchup. I might not get all of these hotkeys or all of these production structures against every matchup, but for example, I might not get the Stargate every game in Protoss versus Protoss. But when I do it, it'll be on that hotkey. So the layout is going to be the same for every race. Get my probes. Go mine or something. So let's do a little quick recap. So I have 4 as my Nexus. Every time I make a Nexus, it's going to be on my 4 hotkey. So I can easily, 4 E, Chrono Boost is 4C, access all my Chrono, whatever I need. Say I want to check probes at each base, or say I get dropped at a specific base, I'll do my jump to location hotkey, which is going to be essentially my F1 key, or my macro key on my keyboard, so it's not technically F1. I have my F2, F3, and F4 hotkeys. Oh, this one actually, I haven't downed yet. So every time I make a Nexus and it starts building, so in other words, when it looks like this, if I can build it. So when it starts like this, I'll add it to my 4 hotkey, and I'll add it to the location hotkey. I'll add it essentially to multiple hotkeys. So it's going to be add to 4 hotkey, add to location hotkey, and set rally point to whatever I want to set it to. Probably be the minerals at the time. So then I can just jump to multiple Nexi. I have my army. My Blink Stalker is going to be an entirely separate hotkey. I could harass them. Say say I'm in my base and I only want to go with Blink Stalkers and I'll go harass Terran's economy. I'll blink up, blink down, and I'll play around with the Blink Stalkers, and this is why it's good to only have Blink Stalkers on one hotkey. So essentially it's going to be like, I can't do that, and they're going to go around, it's not going to look pretty. I have my DPS, basically everything that's not a Stalker or a Colossus, or a Templar or Dark Templar is going to be on my 2 hotkey. That's going to be my DPS, I call it. So one's going to be my mobility, two's going to be my DPS, and three's going to be my support. This guy's going to be the Colossus or Templar when I don't have the Templar out. These guys are usually going to be accompanied by the 7 hotkey or 6 hotkey, which is going to be the War Prism. So that way I can drop, do 3, follow it up, and go from there. And what I can do too is with my 7 hotkey and just instantly reinforce the battle right where I stand. What's nice about that is because you don't want to, the battle's over here, you don't want to warp in over here with reinforcements when Terran's